Architect Damien Burrows has travelled to the Isle of Man to see our next long-listed house, part of a wildly ambitious project to regenerate its surroundings. This is restorative rural retreat built into the hillside, clad in local stone, with a long ribbon window suggestive of a bird hide. It's attached to an existing traditional white cottage. Technically, Restorative Retreat is an extension. Its owners are nature-loving retirees Peter and Carol. At the heart of their nature reserve, they've built a spectacular home where they can take in everything they've created.
Hey.
Hi, Damien. Nice to meet you.
You too. How are you doing? How?
Hi.
Lovely to meet you.
Welcome to Saltburn.
What an incredible house.
Thank you. Yes, we're very proud of it. We didn't want a huge cathedral. We wanted something discreet.
It then looks over all of the nature reserve. Not a clear day, but you can see Ireland from the house.
It almost feels like someone's just taken a great big broom and swept all of the stones into a big pile, and then you've started to carve into it and form your house.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I don't think I've ever seen such a subtle, delicate, textural, more appropriate use of materials.
Oh, well, that's because a lot of this stone came from that lake that's down there.
This isn't just a home for Peter and Carol. They wanted the wildlife to move in too. The natural stone cladding is rough and deliberately littered with crevices designed to be inhabited by moss, birds and insects.
The bees have already started making nests in there.
So not content with sharing your land with nature, you actually want to share your house with nature as well.
Yes. I mean, all are welcome here. How long they stay is dependent on
them
and their predators. The house must fit in with the land, not the other way around, as if it's been here for 100 years.
The RIBA judges heaped praise on this excellent response to the landscape, commending the use of local material and the way it seems moulded into the hillside. They marvelled at the horizontal slot window and the thick concrete walls that provide a sheltered and embracing experience inside. The house is designed to be invisible to passers-by. The roof is level with the road and covered in grass. Both the bedrooms are located on the lower ground floor. The living area and kitchen diner are given pride of place with panoramic views over the land. A staircase library connects each floor with a glazed study built into the roof and a garage against the road.
Wow, incredible door. Love the scale of it, isn't it? It's magnificent. And incredible view.
On entering this building at living room level, everything seems bigger and expansive. The long ribbon window offers a mesmerizing panorama of landscape. At one end, a picture window frames the horizon. Who wouldn't want to enjoy that?
It's almost like I've stepped inside and I've immediately stepped outside again.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And we were after a little bit of peace and quiet as well. Some
I think
ways
you've got a little bit more than a little bit.
It's certainly quiet.
Yeah.
I think this is the best bird hide I've ever been in. Sweeping views over these sweeping hills. It's absolutely fantastic.
Restorative Retreat has everything the soul, mind and body could possibly need. Beauty, tranquility, and a high-tech Japanese robo-grill.
I put in this teppanyaki plate. If you've been to a teppanyaki bar in Japanese restaurants, they use spatulas like that and they cook things like prawns and they flick them at you. It's that sort of... this is my dream kitchen.
The oriental discipline of the kitchen is matched by a rigorous palette of materials here, limited to concrete, timber, and brushed steel. It may be a local stone building on the outside, but indoors they couldn't find a lot of what they needed.
Building on the Isle of Man can be very expensive because a lot of things have to come from overseas. This huge piece of oak was brought over from England.
Because you don't have a lot of materials on your doorstep, because they're not commonly used, that puts another degree of complexity on the bill.
We couldn't get concrete at one time, could we?
Yes.
We did get it finished, albeit it was about a year late.
The project took just over 2 years to complete. Building a new home that appears as though it's nestled here for decades doesn't happen overnight.
You could be mistaken for thinking that it had been here for 100 years until you start to look at the architecture a little more deeply.
Yes.
And then you see the use of very contemporary materials like corten, that wonderful rusting metal trim around the window.
Yes.
They've used steel that deliberately ages and rusts with the weather. A sharp move by the architect, Will Foster, on what is an extremely exposed site. But inside, this house is rustic, comfortable, and cozy. Its centerpiece is the atrium, with a double-story library home to Peter's extensive collection of natural history books. The staircase is a thing of sculptural beauty. It took months to forge. The work was done in Somerset by specialist blacksmiths. Kyle and John worked together to bring the complex design to life. Peter and Carol set out to build a home in which to enjoy their retirement and share their love of nature. But what they've built is something their entire community can be a part of. They're now planning a visitor centre so local school children and eco-tourists can enjoy the reserve, with this extraordinary house at its centre.
To build a house that's in complete harmony with its environment, well, that's one thing. But by combining the forces of nature with the boldness of architecture, Peter and Carol have created a truly remarkable home.
So far, we've seen 2 houses that flex and fit to their setting. Only 3 more to go before we find out which of these remarkable homes gets shortlisted for House of the Year. Our next long lister harks back a couple of 100 years to another time. It's hidden away in a sea of traditional brick-built streets, but it is ambiguous, enigmatic, made of wood. This is South London House, dressed in strips of beautiful black timber. This time-travelling shed doesn't mimic its surroundings today, but as they would have been in the 19th century. It was designed by the history-loving architect Jonathan and his wife Catherine. The RIBA judges praised South London House as a wonderful family home that improves the place it's in and, poetically, conjures memories of what was once here. The horseshoe-shaped ground floor is built around a courtyard garden. There's a pair of bedrooms at each end, with a kitchen and living area in the middle. A single attic room provides extra space for a living room and study. Outside may take inspiration from the past, but the inside open-plan layout is clearly of now. There are hypnotically calming Douglas-fir joists and beautiful clean lines. South London House is a world away from the city outside. Immediately, incredibly peaceful, you know. And here we are, in this little Eden. Those wildflower meadow roofs look
They've really taken off.
really rich and lush.
Yeah.
The kind of little hats the building's wearing. Yeah.
It is. It's a kind of sanctuary for us.
Well, it is now. The headaches of building it have been largely forgotten. Apart from the little reminders every now and then. The sewer in the courtyard, for example.
We have a public sewer crossing this site, which runs right through the middle of the site.
But no, there's a big round one there.
There's a big round one there.
Aside from the sewer, Jonathan had to negotiate 5 separate party wall agreements. South London House is hemmed in on all sides by its neighbours, who closely eyed the builders as they worked, cutting steel reinforcement bar, sparks flying everywhere. Some more concerned than others.
close to spoiling.
The bedroom is a delight.
Wowee, that's very nice. It is beautifully done. The joists, all of a piece, with a frame that runs around the building with that little shadow gap.
And if there's one room that needs a beautiful view, it's the living room upstairs.
Oh, this is splendid. Enjoy the view over the churchyard. Just quite tranquil, isn't it?
Yeah, no television up here, just relaxing.
The wildflower meadow is very beautiful. It sits quite harmoniously with the pink of the pink campion, with the plastic chair on the roof, and a view down to the courtyard. That is terrific.
Its carefully framed views make South London House a place to enjoy the best of its surroundings, the green bits of a grey city.
There is a lot of sound medical research from the past 40 years that shows that being surrounded by trees with a view of trees is good for you. It's good for your well-being, both physical and psychological. So, this new house sits on the site of an old one that was here 100 or so years ago, which is now long gone, but of which perhaps some stain, some memory remains. This house was probably built by, almost certainly lived in, by people who worked in the shipyards here. Jonathan and Catherine enjoy that sense of history, that contact. They relish in this new house that reverberation to the history of this place.